Hey man, what's up?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I'm gonna have to bump you up a little bit, I think, on the stream. But how are you doing, dude?
Okay, cool. I'm doing pretty good today. Just
Awesome.
got off of work, ready to play
Nice.
some StarCraft.
Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, you are currently in Platinum League, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Real quick for the people in the stream chat, can you guys hear him just fine now? It should be good. So what do you do for work? Because you have to work on a Sunday, you say?
Yeah, I'm in the military for the
Oh,
United
right.
States.
Right, right, right.
So we have like weird rotations of work sometimes.
All right, so we're currently in Platinum League, you mentioned. Do you have like a certain goal in mind of what you really want to reach in game, or?
I want to get back into Masters. I used to
Cool.
be a mid-master in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, like early Heart of the Swarm.
Mm-hmm.
But then military training came in, and then before I knew it, I was on a deployment. And then before I knew it, it was been over 20 months since I played the game, and I'm in Platinum now.
No, where'd you go?
Yeah, I had to go to the Middle East for a little bit.
Cool.
I went to a whole bunch of places over there. It was pretty cool, but there was no StarCrafting.
They had no StarCraft here, man. No StarCraft League,
I
like on
mean,
a Sunday.
I had no internet connection, and like, whenever I did, it sucked. It was bad.
Fair enough.
I did actually manage to play 3 games when I was on deployment, and I got cheesed in 2 of them. So I was like, "Are you serious?"
This fuckers never change.
I was like, "Well, the game has not changed, man." I didn't even complete my placements. I had time to, but I was like, you know what? I'll just play StarCraft when I don't suck at it.
Fair enough.
Like,
All
but
right.
yeah.
Yep, I got you already in the friends list right there. Awesome.
All right. Awesome.
All right, yeah. So usually what we do is we play for about an hour to an hour and a half. I always keep a bunch of notes of the things that I notice or whatever is necessary. And usually we start off with like a replay or just a game that we play really quickly, and then we jump into the replay and figure out what we could improve upon, and then we usually end up playing a
Okay.
couple more games.
I just had a ZVZ like an hour ago versus some barcode.
Mm-hmm.
That was a ZVZ. I don't know if it'll. Oh yeah, I should be able to watch that one.
Sure.
I don't really have any recent ZVPs, which seem to be my weakest matchup. ZVTs and ZVZs, I kind of know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
ZVP, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I was just gonna ask, like, what do you think is your worst matchup? Because usually you have like a nice statistics screen in Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty,
Yeah.
but that's broken here.
ZVZ was always my strong point. At least in Heart of the Swarm, I had like a high 80% win rate in mid-master.
Mhm.
But ZVT was like 30%. So that
Alright.
was Heart of the Swarm, though. But here I feel much better ZVT. I feel much better ZVZ. ZVP, I've tried everything.
Okay, well that sounds very depressing. What do you generally do, like ZVT and ZVZ, that makes it feel so strong?
Well, it's more of just not so much of like what I'm doing. It's more of I just feel better, like more confident, because it's like I have an end-game goal in mind. Like,
Mhm.
okay, ZVT, he's going bio. All right, cool. I know I'm either going to end up with lurkers or ultralists, depending on his micro abilities, and
Uh-huh.
I'm going to generalize around the Ling, Bane, Corruptor style, maybe a few early Roaches, depending on aggression levels. That's my ZVT, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. So since I feel comfortable and confident, I tend to just do better
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
ZVT. ZVZ, pretty much I'll open up with the upgraded Ling aggression into typically Roach Hydra Lurker. I haven't had any games really progress past that point.
Yeah.
So typically the games will end with either my macro being worse or my macro being better, and one of us will just win mid-game. ZVP, I've tried the old school like pool first into 1 queen into quick 3 base and then
Mhm.
into double gas geyser. That did not. I mean that held off a couple of those immortal like adept pushes that hit around the 6-minute mark.
Yeah.
I held a couple of those off with that, but then when they transition to air, it's like my macro just doesn't keep up because they're already on 3 bases and I'm still saturating my third, and
Mhm.
it's like, god dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still like, that's the thing with Legacy of the Void. Still, like, everything is still being figured out, and there's all kinds of different strategies that haven't even been discovered yet, right? So I
Yeah.
can't really give you like one super solid go-to composition that's great against everything, like you can in Heart of the Swarm, for example. But we should be able to figure out some of those weaknesses. So you say you have a hard time saturating the third base and timing that?
Well, it's more of with Protoss, I have a hard time reading them. Like
Alright.
I can get a good scout in, but it's like I have no idea what they're doing.
Okay, I see. Okay, even with scouting.
Yeah, like my friend typically we'll be playing like over Google Plus or whatever together. He'll be 1v1 laddering, I'll be 1v1, and I'll be like, oh god, I'm going against a Protoss, and I'll have to tell him what I see. And it's like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing here. He's like, they're DT rushing you. I'm like, okay, spores.
Right.
And that's about the extent of it.
All right. So what's like your usual go-to composition in Zerg vs Protoss? Like, do you have something you at least like enjoy playing, or
Roach Hydra or
Okay.
Ling Hydra with Corruptors typically is a pretty fun combination.
Okay, yeah. I'm mainly asking if you rather play like a ground-based army or switch around Mutalisk. I know there's like
I
couple
love
players that
tech
definitely-
switching.
Okay.
I really love tech switching against Protoss, but it's the point of getting to where I have the economy to tech switch. I typically get killed off by timing attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't see them coming, and then they just steamroll me.
Okay. Yeah. So, generally speaking, from like Ling Hydra Corruptor, you can really easily switch into Lurker Brute Lord. That's actually very powerful. I found that as well. As you may have seen in that last game we just played on stream as well, I have a little bit of trouble here and there versus Protoss as well.
Oh no, yeah, I understand completely. Like I understand the state that Legacy of the Void in. I'm having a lot of fun with it though. Like it's a lot more fun. It's just Protoss can be very annoying at times because they're still off balancy. It's weird.
Yep. Yeah, and they're
along with
changing
that,
things a lot as well.
And I'm trying to relearn the game while things are changing, so it's just, oh my god.
Yeah.
I just need a foundation to grasp to learn Protoss.
Okay. All right. Well, let's work on Zerg versus Protoss then.
Okay.
It's probably gonna be best. I don't know if you have like a Zerg versus Protoss, like just your most recent game in your replay list, just so I can have an idea of what, what's been going on.
Let me see. ZVT. Oh my god.
you don't just face any Protoss, man. Like that's why you're not improving. Oh, it happens often. Like usually I want to end up practicing one matchup only. I'm like, okay, I hope I face a Terran next, and you don't see a Terran player for like 10 games.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes to. I don't mind fighting Protoss players. I want to. It's just they're far and few. And then when I fight them, they're, oh, here's that adept immortal push that's gonna wreck me. And then it wrecks me.
All right.
Okay, I found one. I have no idea what happens in this game. This game was like 3 days ago.
Okay. Yeah, if you could host it up with like watch with others, and then give me the host lead back in the lobby, that'd be awesome. It's a little confusing. Like
I gotcha.
there we go. Yeah. Yeah, and then if you could make me the host in the lobby as well, because it's like two separate things, because Battle.net.
Yeah, redundancy or whatever.
All right, so we'll have a look at scouting mainly, and then like how to read a Protoss.
I have no idea what happens this game, by the way. Like,
all right. Well, that's all fine. So you said he was gonna go for Immortal into Adept, right? So like Immortal Sentry into like Adept Warpin, something like that.
Well, that's when I'm having the most fun.
Oh, you got your command, obviously.
Yeah.
Man, I've never seen that before. That's awesome.
Oh, I've ran into it a couple times on ladder. I had one guy messaging me earlier today thinking I was you, and he was like asking me for advice. I'm like, dude, I'm just into the clan. Dude.
Fair enough. Well, you could give him advice though.
I mean, I would, but he was like, just kept inviting me to parties, and I'm like.
That's why I have that disabled. Like people can't invite me into a party.
Yeah.
All right. So far it looks very solid, very very standard. All right, so you do end up scouting right here with an overlord. That is awesome. That's actually very, very good. And you end up seeing a Stargate. I don't know if you ended up clicking on that building.
I'm pretty sure I knew there was a Stargate. I typically go with about a 4-minute spore crawlers anyway. I don't know if I did it this game, but I'm supposed to go with a 4-minute spore crawler. I'm pretty sure the build that I was doing this game was very fast layer into Hydras. And then just trying to do a lot of aggression. That's what I think I was trying to do this game. I have no idea, honestly.
All right. So far, actually, scouting-wise, it looks great, though. Like, the fact that you flew on the Overlord, scouted exactly what it was going for, and the timing on this Overlord right here is absolutely awesome as well, because you get that right when he puts down that third Nexus, so that's actually really, really good. Do you usually end up going for the melee upgrades, or do you usually end up going for the missile upgrades in the Evo chambers?
It depends. Some games, I'll go with the melee first, and then I'll go with the range after that.
Okay.
But normally I won't go past the +1 melee.
Alright. That makes sense.
Okay, so this one I'm going range first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one I was trying out, you know what, I'm not going to start the second one in order to get the extra gas at the beginning to maybe help out with something.
Oh, snap. I pressed the wrong button. What did I press? Oh, nothing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I did do my spore crawlers at the right time. Except for my third. Okay.
Yeah, but you didn't really have any mining yet to the third. I got this weird bug, by the way, in game right now where I randomly... My mouse is stuck. I can't actually... I can't actually control it anymore. Yeah, it's a bug in Legacy only. Doesn't happen.
Should we restart the replay?
Nah, it's good. I can still watch it. I can still pause it, but I can't really control it.
Oh, okay. You can like scroll around though with the arrow keys.
Yep.
That's a pretty weird bug.
Yeah, it's been happening a little bit. Don't really know exactly how to fix it. But all in all, this looks very good. So you start making a whole bunch of Hydralisk right here. Do you usually, like, you say you sort of lack a plan, right, in Zerg vs. Protoss? At least that's what I basically gathered from what you mentioned first. Like,
yeah, I can get to the mid game. It's just surviving timing attacks. I mean, typically when they go Stargate, I'm sometimes okay. It really does depend on what type of Stargate play they're doing. But if they're not going Stargate, that's when it's just like, okay, what do I transition to after Link Hydra?
Right. Okay. Okay, yeah. So there's two things right there, right? First off, it's defending the all-ins that they can go for if it's a 2-base. Now in this case, you scouted, okay, there's a third base, so he's not going to go 2-base all-in. So you basically, you know, eliminated that part. Yeah, that's why I wondered whether or not you were going to go for the missile upgrade or the melee one. What most people tend to transition to right now, at least in the pro scene, is like Ultralisk in the late game. Like Ultralisk will basically wreck any kind of Protoss army that doesn't have like more than 4 Immortals. Oh, did we drop? All right. So let's see if we can make this work, okay? So I was going to mention two things. I've not forgotten.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had a bunch of disconnects, by the way, for anyone who's just turning in. So first up, late game army. Generally speaking, switching into a Lorca and Ultralisk is going to be your best bet. So Ultralisk are insanely good. I don't know if you ever played them versus Protoss.
Yes, I have. I have definitely taken out a couple death balls. Now the issue is getting there.
Right.
I don't typically live long enough. I don't know why. It's like the Protoss will take a 4th. I'll try to deny the 4th, and for some reason their army will just crush mine. And it's like, what? I spent all my resources. I macroed okay. What more could I have done to take out that army? Right. I don't know if it's my engagements. I'm not used to the Protoss units yet. Or maybe I'm just not using my units correctly. But, yeah. I don't know. I think that's just me not used to the game anymore. And that'll go away with time. So I don't complain about that too much. It's like, I understand I'm not as good as I used to be.
Yeah, I think it may be having to do like a combination between like not knowing what the scouting info means and then not droning hard enough and then eventually not ending up with a big enough army. Usually it's like a combination of like a couple different things, yeah.
My drone timings are not what they were supposed to be, so I was behind macro-wise or something.
Yeah, and then it's also that there's so many different compositions to worry about. And then one chunk that I'm currently struggling with a lot is like on this map it's pretty easy to deny the 4th, right? Like that base is pretty easy to deny because it's so wide open. But the 3rd is like impossible to deny. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna commit hardcore in it. If he puts down 2 pylons and 2 force fields, it's It's very impossible. Like very, no, it's not impossible. It's very hard to break that. Like no matter what army comp he goes for. So it's like the combination of, you know, the current meta that is very difficult to read as Zerg,
Yeah.
and then drone timings, and then also the map design being really rough.
Yeah, I am getting used to the maps, like realizing what strats are more prevalent on certain ones, which I do like that a bit more because it feels like I didn't play HOTS long enough, but in Legacy of the Void, it seems like the maps play a huge role in the strategies that are being used.
Yeah.
So I do like that.
Yeah. No, games are like in Brood War it used to get always balanced around like the maps and stuff. Like it wouldn't be balanced in the game; it would just be balanced around maps. So like if Protoss was a little too overpowered, they would, you know, nerf the maps a little for Protoss, make them a little wide open stuff. It's kind of interesting. We're getting there at StarCraft right now as well. But anyways,
I cannot wait.
so late game army composition, I would focus a lot on like Zerglings with Adrenal Glands and Ultralisk. Just because they're really easy to control and they're very, very difficult to stop. And they're
is
really
that
good.
with Aspire?
You can go with the Spire as well, but usually once you start +2/+2, you can start up the Infestation Pit and go straight up to a Hive. And once you start up like those upgrades, usually it flows quite nicely. You can usually stick around with Zergling, Hydra, and maybe in like between you can get some Lurkers out as well if you enjoy playing those in the other matchups.
I'm assuming by +2 you mean melee?
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually we go for melee first and then the armor upgrade as well. And then the one other thing that I wanted to mention is because you say you sometimes lose games versus the 2 basal links and stuff.
Those are what I have a lot of trouble with.
Sorry?
Yeah, I have a lot of trouble with those. Spotting them and then preparing for them.
Yeah, the easiest thing that I found to deal with it is just to get the Roach Warren down 100% of the games. Like, I found it to be almost always going to be worth it. And in like the timing wise, I would just get it right when you get the Lair and the Evo Chambers as well. And if you then get the Roach Warren, like right now, you usually end up having a really good timing. Because if you're going to be stuck on Zerglings for the next like minute and a half and you're not 100% certain what he's going for, like in this game, you scouted pretty good what was going on, right? Because you saw the Stargate and you see the third Nexus. But let's say you didn't have that information. Skipping out on a Roach Warren makes it really scary, especially in like adept-based armies, because they do so well against Zerglings. So in pretty much every ZVP, it's worth getting the Roach Warren, even if you don't plan on making any roaches. Yeah, it's very nice, especially now with the larva injects being a little bit less popular. So defending with Zerg, or like the larva injects only popping off 3 larvae instead of 4. Making like Zergling defense is a lot more difficult. So I would get a Roach Warren every game when you start the lair, you know, just to be safe.
All right, that sounds good.
So yeah, even if you don't plan on making the roaches, it's still worth it.
Oh no, I understand. That's pretty much what I do versus Terran. I always get a Roach Warren.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
Game resumed.
Yeah, you can do the same thing. And then the blind Spork Crawlers are actually really like... Even though they weren't blind in this game, I suppose. Like, they're pretty much always worth it.
I always get the 4-minute spores.
No, that's very good. Like, if you're not certain, I think that's the best approach. You will stop, like, 3 different all-ins, and it's not gonna change, you know, the game entirely. Actually, drone timing-wise, this is very good as well.
This game, I'm actually not doing too bad. Typically, by this point, I've forgotten my lair, and I'm floating like 400 gas.
Right, okay.
And I've been supply blocked like 5 times. But I have my good games.
But what may be making that a little easier is just going for a timing attack that you have in mind. So like a push with Hydra speed. Just something that like forces you out on the map. Which is basically what you do in Zerg vs Terran, right? Or in Zerg vs Zerg. Yeah. So I think it may be worth having that plan in mind. So basically, you go up to the lair as soon as you can, or as soon as you reasonably can, and get the Hydra upgrade, like this upgrade right there, and just push as soon as that upgrade finishes up with Zerglings and Hydra, just to force you out on the map, and that way, you know, you can't really forget.
Yeah, I'm like traumatized by Protoss. It's like every time I move my army out, I just feel like I'm gonna have a bunch of zealots warp in one of my bases, and it's gonna get wrecked.
Right.
Yeah, that's just me misreading the game and just being paranoid about, because it's like I don't have the confidence to know what the Protoss is doing, so I feel like something unexpected is going to happen, so I just want to keep my army close at all times.
Right.
It's like, oh, if I move my army out, there's going to be DTs or something like that. It's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. What may be worth noting about Protoss that may feel impossible, or it may not. It may not seem like that, but usually when Protoss commits toward a certain tech path, so be it like a Stargate, or be it robotics, or be it like, a lot of High Templar or something like that. Usually they're kind of stuck in that pattern, right? So in this case, he went for the starport first, or the Stargate first, but he's not actually producing out of it anymore. He switched to the robotics facility. And that's usually something to keep in mind. Like if they're on 2-base, they're really only going to go for Robo, or they're going to go for Stargate, or they're going to go for Templar. But they can't really do 2 of those 3. Once they get up to a 3rd base, they have a couple more options, but still it's they're very committed. Yeah. So once you saw the Stargate, honestly, a switch towards robotics is the main logical follow-up, I suppose, right now in Legacy. So you don't have to worry too much about like the crazy strategies. Like once they commit to watch a certain path, they sort of have to sit there. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
I'm following.
Cool.
Game resumed.
All right, but yeah, this is looking pretty good. I would like to see a little bit of a move out right now if you would have gone for the upgrade. Without the muscular augments, without the upgrade, it's really hard to do anything.
Game resumed.
Just because your Hydras is super slow. So
wow.
This is kind of scary right now, but I guess it works.
I just realized muscular augments increases movement speed.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is one of the changes with Legacy of the Void. You had the grooved spines and you had the muscular augments.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to the grooved spines. I was like, where?
Yeah, they made it one upgrade. Like, they made it the upgrade. Basically, it has the grooved spines icon, but the muscular augments, like, name. Those are just being cute like that. I don't know if you noticed that, but
that is pretty awesome. I have no complaints.
Yeah, so it's cheaper, and I believe it researches at the exact same time, so you can do a very powerful timing push with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's movement speed and their extra range.
All right.
Game resumed.
Yeah. So I would definitely like to see a move out right now up this ramp. I think you could very well.
I have no idea what my army was doing right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my multitasking.
Well, you should be fine here. Yeah. So even if it's just like to deny the 4th base or to put on a
I think I was waiting on the muscular augments at this point. I was waiting on it.
Yeah. Yeah, but notice like that could have been finished about a minute ago, right?
Yeah. I see that now that I'm watching the replay. I'm like, yep, I thought he was going to do some Protoss magic and like somehow defeat my army.
Yeah. So I think you just win this right here.
This is pretty much the game.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's just a matter of prioritizing a little bit differently. Sniping down a mothership core is pretty much the game-ending move right there for Protoss. Like, they can't do anything without the mothership core anymore.
Oh, that bank. That bank, though.
Yeah. That's true as well. But, all right. Well, that was a pretty good idea. Let's just give it a game a try. Go for the guaranteed Roach Warren, and then also go for the guaranteed, or not the guaranteed, like go for the melee upgrades and eventually into Ultralisk if you have to. But we'll see if it goes well.
So no range, just focus more on the getting the 3-8 Ultralisk Scout.
Yes. If we get, like, that's the end game goal. That's the end game goal to get the.
So it's gonna be like a Ling with supportive Roach opening if necessary, and 2 Hydras, Ling Hydra, and then follow that into upgrading towards the Ultralisk tech path.
Exactly. Yeah, and once you start a +2/+2, you start the infestation pit as well to go up to a hive.
Okay, cool.
So the timing of that is like you start up +2/+2, you start the infestation pit as well, and then you go immediately up to a hive, and it lines into 3/3 very well.
All right, that sounds pretty cool. With gas timings in the opening, typically I'm going for the 17 hatch, 18 gas, 19 pool versus Protoss.
That's good.
I get my second gas around 42 supply, just because that's an old habit from Wings of Liberty. That was like my old timing for it, and I just stuck with it. And then when I get lair, I throw down the other 2, and I just wait till my 3rd saturated for the last 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play it that by the book, I suppose, but what you did in this game looked fine. Like, as long as you have a good ratio with gas and you're not leaning towards one side, and you're still able
Okay.
to like spend your early game resources on only drones. Like, it's not like if you have 20 idling larvae and you have gas mining, it's not worth it, right?
Right.
But yeah, what you were doing in this game seemed very good, at least. Like, I didn't notice anything in particular. But usually that's a little easier to spot when you're actually having a first-person view, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that was one of my better games, though. Typically, I'm a lot more forgetful.
All right. Well, what we're gonna do in this game is just like try and help you out as much as possible, and we'll play like 2 or 3 games or something like that.
Okay.
And in the
Sounds
first
fine
one, I
to me.
try and like commentate as much as possible, or like comment on what's going on, just to show you that like most of the things you know, but sometimes it's difficult to remember them while you're in the game, right?
Yeah. I
And,
draw blinks a lot.
yeah. So it may be worth sometimes to simply just pause the game, not like in the middle of it, but like just to like make a mental note of what point you are in the game and then jump into the replay afterwards.
Okay.
I do that quite a lot. Like, for example, like at 15 minutes, I have absolutely no clue what he's doing. Like, just look at the replay and go from there.
All right. Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, we're gonna play a custom, so it's all good. I don't know if you have someone you want to be playing against, or if you should pull someone from the chat.
A Protoss? No, I don't necessarily have any Protoss practice partners.
Cool. All right. If anyone wants to chat, or from the chat wants to help us out, I am going to be in group LowkoTV on the... Well, if it works. I'm going to need a platinum level Protoss player. For some reason, my chats aren't working. Fuck. Join
hi.
LowkoTV. Sometimes chats in Legacy the way they're very confusing.
I am comfortable playing like against the diamond as well. Like I on ladder, I've been playing nothing but diamonds recently. I've been having a pretty good win ratio.
Also. Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so if there's
But-
like a platinum/diamond level player in the chat right now, I'm thinking about how I could do this, because I can't join groups for some reason.
well, that's interesting.
Normally you can just type /join.
Let me see.
Maximum number of channels open. I'm in 2 channels. What?
Let me see.
Yeah, I need like we need like a platinum to diamond level Protoss. If any of you is in the chat right now on the stream, if you could simply like...
I
if you're-
joined a channel.
Okay.
Loco.tv.
Yeah, or like normally the channel is just LowkoTV, but
Oh, okay. Let me join that one then.
yeah, if Kata said if you could post your character name and your character code in the chat, just in game or in the Twitch chat, I can add you that way. That's probably easiest. Furiously angry, if you could do the same, that'd be awesome as well.
Catasid is in the Loco TV chat.
All right. Yeah, if you could invite him, that's cool.
Okay.
All right. So I believe he says he plays random, or at least he can play random.
Oh, Gosu, Gosu.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Yeah, if you could either like toss me the party lead or host up a map, that's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna throw Orbital Shipyard.
Sure.
Rank 5 diamond. This is gonna be a fun one.
Well, you said you wanted to practice against the diamond, right? So here you
I'm
go.
fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it.
All right. Yeah, could you make me a referee as well so I can like pause it if you need to?
Yes. All right.
All right, Red Dagger, I added you as well. If you need anyone else. Oh yeah, see, I always need to remind people, like remind quotation marks of closing the stream every single time. It's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that was what crashed my internet because I was streaming Skype at highest quality and I was streaming your stream at highest quality.
Oh, all right. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And then when I brought up StarCraft, my internet was like, nope. I quit.
In the end, that's what we want to learn to beat, right? Just macro tools.
Yeah, pretty much.
So even though we know he's not gonna go for 2 base all in, you know, it's still good to prepare in case, you know, he is going for that.
Right. I have my practice partners, but not against Protoss, but even my Terran and my Zerg practice partner, I still await the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's go. Cool. All right, yeah. So for this one, I'm just gonna try and talk to as much as possible. You mentioned you always play on Google Hangouts or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm gonna completely throw you off by talking.
No, typically I am used to talking. Me and my friend are pretty quiet during our openings, and then after that, we're just like, okay, we'll slowly smooth out into. Before you know it, we're having a conversation while playing against another player.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't play against each other, right? You just play against different people.
We play against each other occasionally in between games, like whenever we get bored with the ladder or stressed out from ladder.
Right.
We'll review the replays and all that.
Cool. So what is he? Is he up? Like, is he above you or the same rank or?
He used to be above me. Like he was actually a silver when I was pretty good back at the Wings of Liberty, and I coached him up a good bit. But then he ended up becoming better than me after a little while, and the roles have switched.
Okay, that's awesome. So the actual goal here is to be significantly better than him, right? Like masters and whatnot. No, I'm kidding.
Well, he ended up taking a break, and now we're both about the same skill level.
All right.
So, yeah. Me and him both want to be master Zergs. That's our goal. Get master Zerg again.
All right. Well, you should have a nice advantage when Legacy first hits compared to other players. Like a lot of people take a bit of a break right around right now.
All right.
What hotkey setup do you use, by the way? Like the standard one or?
I use a modified standard.
All right.
It's just my own personal.
Sure. I never noticed how much Protoss supply actually spikes up early game. Like they already are. He's already a couple supply ahead right now, even though nothing really happened. It's kind of funny. Right before the Queen started, I suppose. Yeah.
Hex boost. At this point with my overlords, I'll typically start putting them around my base. Like for Oracle type play and whatnot.
Very good.
While my things will go poke up the ramp a little bit.
Yeah, this is looking very nice so far. Like the multitasking is going, well, you know, perfect.
But my
so far.
issue with this opening is when do I take a third?
Right. So I would actually take it right around right now. Let's go straight into it.
I am noticing I'm having the minerals.
Yeah.
I notice I'm floating that much.
That's one of the things in Legacy to avoid. You can still be mining gas, but you still be getting plenty of minerals, right? So,
Yeah.
I would actually likely go for the double upgrades first before going for the lair. So
That's typically what I do.
All right. Yeah.
Or try to, but I was testing out the earlier. I was testing out the earlier Hydras that game. I was pretty happy with the result.
Yeah. No, that was great. Very good inject so far. Let's try and keep those larvae at 0. Very important to try and keep those as low as possible.
I try to throw my evos around 160, 175 gas.
It's perfect.
That way when they pop.
Oh, that's great. Little couple seconds.
Yeah.
We'll go with it. That's
The minerals lined up though.
Yep.
Which was good.
Oh, you're plenty fast, dude. Multitasking is, you said multitasking is rough sometimes, well this is looking fine.
I mean, I still have like the pre-master like
Yeah.
you know, habits, but at the same time it's kind of like I don't know how I'm doing all this. Like I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just all muscle memory.
You're autopiloting.
Pretty
Alright.
much.
If you're not sure what to go for, I would still go for the sport crawlers. And the lair as well, obviously.
Yeah, that is right. Completely spaced on those sport crawlers.
Yep, and I would always get a couple of Zerglings right when link speed finishes, just to like look around the map. So let's say about 8 Zerglings just to look around the map. Oh, you actually did. Great.
Yeah, I was already.
Great. All right, so there's full drone afterwards. Okay, you said you weren't 100% certain about timings. If you're not sure what to do, go full drone.
Okay, so I see you took a third.
Yep. So like the best problem to have is to die because you made too many drones, right? Like that's a great
see
a great
an
issue.
portal.
Okay, so it's pretty obvious what he's going for
Oh,
here.
Stalker. Okay, Overlord's gonna die.
Oh, good. But most importantly, what you gather there is a third base, and that you can make more drones, right? So if you can, don't sacrifice all the links.
Oh, snap.
It's fine.
Failure.
Just recreate them. We still need Zerglings out on the map to scout what's going on.
Oh, too early on those injects.
Alright, let's get the Hydra then. As you can see, you can instantly go into the infestation pit here as well.
True.
Now, right around this time, you can go for the fourth base as well, and even potentially go for a macro hatchery. Especially if you're not feeling too reliant on your queen injects, or you're not feeling too great about them. But this is really good.
A big weakness I do have is my control groups. I've lost the old habit of like being able to isolate my control groups properly, and I end up getting the units mixed up a lot. And that's what does slow me down a lot, multitasking. But that's just me finally like breaking the habit and getting used to it again.
Right. All right. One thing I would really like to see is like a Zergling close to his base, so you know when he's moving out. Because, like if you look at the minimap right now.
Yeah, I can't see any of the pathing.
Exactly. Like you would basically see him when he's at your third base, right?
I don't know if you can see my ping. Okay, well the rocks in the middle of the map. Is typically I'll have like an overlord near those two corners right there.
Right.
Because any zealots or ground units still walk right past that. I don't know why I didn't this game, but I'm just drawing a blank right there.
It's fine. Yeah. It's just sometimes good to like basically at every point. What I'm trying to say is like every point in the game you want to have something spot him moving out. So if it's one Zergling right there, or if it's an overlord right there, I don't know if you can see those pings. You probably can't.
No, I can't. But the overlord is still alive.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. Well, you know, I didn't even see for that. But still.
Now, one thing I'm noticing is this is about the 6-minute mark, and I see no like attempt to be taking a fourth. So that typically, like around this point, I would be assuming that okay, I'm going to assume there's a push that may be coming very shortly, about within 2 minutes. Some type of aggression.
Right.
That would be my normal thought process. Within the next 2 minutes, I can expect some type of aggression. So when the Hydra Den pops, I'm going to be flooding out Hydras.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And at the same time, your your infestation pit will be done as well, so you can go straight up to a hive.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, the main thing here is to make sure that you have something spotting if he's moving. Okay, like be it an overlord, being a Zergling. Like it happens all the time where you don't position your overlords properly.
Yeah, I keep using the F2 key too much.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal as well. Yeah. That's a bad habit.
I gotta like just remove that hotkey altogether and just take the losses on ladder and just tough it out.
Yep. Yeah, I would say that's the main thing. Like the Zergling at the front right now is the only thing that I can really complain about. Other than that, it's looking very good.
All right, awesome.
All right.
I am taking a fourth, by the way.
Good.
Just in that drone over there.
Good.
All right, ready.
Game resumed.
All right, great. Yeah, so you can use all of the Zerglings right now as well to, well, knock down the rocks, I suppose, first, but to like look around what's going on. But at this point, you can make a ton of units.
Yeah.
All right, so that Zergling may go down. Like immediately replace it. As soon as you lose it, just replace it. Well,
Stalkers
looks like he's
and
making
Immortals. Yeah. near the 4th base? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I can replace it, but my thought process is saying to actually do a small push.
Yeah. If you look at your upgrades right now,
Since I see that he wants to take a 4th, I can go
Yeah.
put some aggression on.
yeah, your +2/+2 and the adrenal or the muscular augments for the Hydras will finish up roughly around the same time. So
Oh,
if I were
snap.
you, yeah, if I were you, I would probably try and make a ton of units right now. Wow. I would try and make a ton of units right now to pressure that 4th base, right? He's just buying time here. That's the only thing he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to take an engagement until the upgrades are all done, but they're about to finish up, so you can flood this with a ton of units right now.
Go scout around up here quickly, see if
Yep.
there's anything else.
Yep, and don't forget about that Zergling at the front.
Yes.
So you have him spotted down that he was knocking down the rocks towards the fort, but he hasn't actually done anything with that yet. So I would be a little hesitant right here as well, what you were talking about. There's a big chance he's gonna do a bit of a move out soon.
Our forces are under attack.
Now Hive is almost finishing up.
Depleted.
So if you finish up the Hive and you're not, like in this scenario where you're not 100% sure what they're going for, you can just simply go for just the adrenal glands and the Ultralisk Cavern usually.
Just miss micro. Yeah, I just started the +3.
Yep. I would say adrenal glands is the most important right now
Mineral field depleted.
on the Zerglings. Yep. Alright. So you can poke up the ramp here. I'd be very careful doing so. Your army's kind of in a scary place right now.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, well.
Oh, I don't like those.
So tempting, so tempting. I would probably just go home here. Fighting off creep is really hard. And knowing that you have a 4th base, you probably will be at an advantage the more income you get, right?
Yeah, especially if I can wait till I get the ultras.
Right, exactly. Alright, so leave that Zergling, like leave at least the Zergling close to his base so you know when he's moving.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun habit.
Yep.
I gotta get used to doing that that quick hotkey for
Yeah.
deselecting out of a control group.
Yeah, you can actually alt-hold key him out. It works really well.
Okay.
But yeah, adrenal glands, or the Ultralisk Cavern is done, so I would start making Ultras only right now.
Oh, I just spent all my gas.
Yep. Well, that's fine. Ultras are your insanely powerful unit.
Forces are under attack.
Okay.
I would go as many Ultras as possible here.
Yeah, I will. That's,
Like if once +3 finishes up, once adrenal glands and chitinous plating finish up, there's no way his army is gonna beat yours. Like there's no way. It's just like buying time to that point right now. Very good injects. Alright, so try and fight here and stay alive. Great move right there. Great split.
ah!
It's fine, it's fine. We're buying time here, right? Like, remember
Yeah,
that.
right.
We're always buying time here. So Ultralisk and Zerglings is all we need. So even though that fight was kind of dirty and we didn't micro for shit.
Disruptors!
Oh,
Disruptors!
free. God, those things are tanky. Alright. So let's go home. Let's go home. Just max out on Ultraling and you win the game. Like, even though sometimes those fights look super dirty, just know you just invested like 1,000 resources into getting all of those upgrades going. As long as you get them, you should be in a great place.
Actually, I'm gonna, instead of taking out the 4th, I'm gonna just attack them.
Alright.
Saturate these geysers over here.
Yep.
Split my drones really quickly.
Our forces are under attack.
Hopefully I'm not dying here. Yeah,
Okay.
that was beautiful micro.
Just max out first. I would probably max out first if you can avoid it. Maybe go
Yeah,
and pressure
I
the
just
fort
wanna
base instead.
Distract them from the 4th.
Yep.
Okay.
Just reinforce with more ultras on links. You should be fine. +3/+3 and all the upgrades are done. So if you max out, usually they cannot take you out anymore. Just grab everything together. Like this is where you can use the F2 hotkey once. Just grab everything. And just fight the 4th.
That-
They really didn't like that evo chamber.
no, they did not. Ah! Run!
It's all good. Just max out on Ultraling and you should be fine.
Yeah, I will. In a second. Just.
Mineral field depleted.
Hey, Ultra, stop fighting that probe. Get to the actual combat. You two, take out the membership board.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna mention anything about the, I guess by saying those exact words I am gonna mention something about it. But like, I wasn't gonna say anything about the Hydra micro and trying to push him back. Just like engaging arcs that you've been doing already. You have a lot of Zerglings coming in. You can just A move here.
Oh, I missed an inject. Oh well.
Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, I can see the Wings of Liberty style of play. It's kind of funny. Basically,
Yeah.
like, don't look at your don't look at your army, right? Like, just macro at home and make a lot of shit.
I remember that.
Uh-huh.
I remember my old coach would always tell me, looking at the battle will not help you win it.
Right.
Macro will.
Yeah, exactly. In Legacy of the Void, it's a little bit less, less emphasized like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, it still works, especially if you play a composition like this. It's all just about getting as many units across the map as possible, and that's exactly what you did. So that was great. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints there.
Okay. Well, I mean, my lair was late. I was like floating 300 gas, which I kind of called in the replay I would do.
The lair was fine actually though. Like I didn't really notice anything in particular. You were prioritizing drones over the lair timing, so it was fine. The main thing that I noticed here was just that you didn't have a Zergling in front of his base for a very long amount of time.
Right. Which is something I just never made that a habit. I mean, I probably had that as a habit during Wings of Liberty, but that's just one of the things that just went away.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot. Like during the expansions, once games develop a little more, you can really notice certain timings. Like for example, in the Heart of the Swarm, you don't have to worry until 9 minutes for them to move out. It's just sort of a number there, and you don't really need a Zergling scouting his front. But in Legacy of the Void, there's still a lot of random move-outs where they just simply pull their stuff together and start moving across the map, and you're like, what the fuck is this? So if you don't know that was happening, that was great. Like, it's annoying. But if you're allowed to macro, and you're allowed to just simply sit back, I can't really see you losing games in Platinum, to be honest. Like, I mean, yeah, that was really sick macro. Like, it was really good macro. You didn't really miss a beat.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better versus Protoss. Like I said, those are more of the previous master side traits showing, but it does come to I have to know what I'm doing, otherwise I just fall apart.
Right.
It gets bad. Before I know it, I'm floating 3,000 minerals and gas. Like, no.
It may be a bit of confidence as well, where you just feel like you already lost it, you're not sure what to go for.
Exactly, that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like right at the mid game, it's like, oh no, I transitioned wrong. The game's over, and it's like,
right. Yeah.
But then I'll go and watch the replay, and it's like I still could have won that game, even though I had the not so great unit composition.
Right. Yeah. No, that was very good. So you wanna play another one?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Cool. Let's do another one, because that looked very good. But this time we'll just let him do whatever the fuck he wants. So we'll see if he goes for like.
I'll make you lead so you can like pick a different map.
Sure. But yeah, if I'm being picky, the most important thing there was having Zerglings at the front constantly, and sometimes you were flooding a little bit too many larvae. Like basically everything we do with the Queen Injects and all the timings and stuff is just there to like be at 0 larvae all the time, right? And that's basically the goal. But I mean it wasn't really particular either, where it was like really holding you back a lot or anything. It was just
honestly, the larva thing is something that I never like. Even when I was halfway decent, I was just never good at spending all the larva. I always had a ton of larva idle, but it's like I don't have any minerals, I don't have any gas, I have a ton of larva always.
Right.
And
yeah, mid-game it was way better. Like, you didn't miss an inject right there. It's just like, I mean, like, especially early on where you're still droning up. If you think about like you have 6 larvae idle and a drone mines for about a mineral a second. If they're hanging around for 10 seconds, right? That's how many minerals? It's like 60 minerals lost right there, right? And it just adds up really quickly. So it wasn't particularly bad or like really poorly executed or whatever, but it's just something to keep in mind. Like, just really focus on keeping the larva at 0 early on. But that's just me being nitpicky, though.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. Like I definitely want to get back to where I used to be, and I still have a good bit of the road to travel.
Cool. All right. Okay, let's see if we can do it.
All right, ready.
Gonna be lols. Oh shit.
No.
Cannon rush into Dark Templar into Proxy Oracle, some shit like that.
I fought that before. Like, I was kind of worried that was the replay I was gonna pull up. Like,
Fair enough.
because I actually just had a Protoss. Like, I went and scouted, and I noticed his ramp was walled in, and I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be one of those games. Like, you know, you're fighting a Diamond Protoss, which typically isn't a bad Protoss player by any means, but his ramp is walled, and I'm like, this is one of those games.
They're extremely frustrating to play, but once you hold them, it's very, very rewarding as well.
Yes, I did win, but that was the game where my friend was like, dude, what are you doing? He's going DTs.
Right. Right. No, I kind of wanted them to go for a 2-base all in. This map is super hard for pros to take a third on, so. Kapap. Yeah, I wrote Kapap, guys. I'm sorry. I meant to write Kappa. I'm sorry. Please let me typo. So you always send out a drone to like look around for the pro?
I always do. I'm so paranoid about cannon rushes. Like, even in my ladder games, honestly, I'll usually do it a lot earlier. But I saw his probe this game, so it's like, okay, I know he's not cannon rushing right now, so I'll wait until it leaves.
Right.
But yeah, typically, it gets bad. I lose a little mining time because of it, but I do spot cannon rushes every now and then.
Yep. No, that's what all the true ladder heroes do. Yeah, this guy called Guru. I don't know if you've heard of Guru. He plays like top of the line grandmaster in Europe. He's playing very, very, very well.
I remember Golsey did that as well, or whatever his name was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that guy he grinded like up to like 15,000 games a season. Like he grinded all day, every game.
I don't know if
Stupid.
you knew Deezer back in the day.
Yeah.
Deezer was actually one of my coaches.
Really? He was
Yeah,
Protoss. No, like.
I know, but after a little bit, he was going through his phase where he was playing Zerg, and I mean, he was actually pretty decent.
He was really good at the game. It was just a jerk.
He was freaking great. Like, he would watch my replays and like. He would send me replays, and it's like, oh, look how I do, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the heck? How did you do that? Like, he showed me some things that I did not think were possible.
Right. I remember him sniping Destiny, though. That was like the dirtiest thing. Anyway, I would always recommend getting a Settle Zergling right around here. I would actually get them much earlier. Because we're sort of missing out on the
I typically do right
overflow.
when the pool pops. It's just, I was more concentrated on the third, and I let it distract me too much.
Sure. No worries.
I'm actually going to send those lings around my third just to check for anything.
Yep, and once link speed finishes, always make a group of links. It's always good. Very good.
Okay, well, I still have no idea where the enemy is. That's a great feeling.
Metamorphosis complete.
Wow. Some people in the chat have no idea who these are sniping Destiny is. Like, that's old school,
I know,
man. That's
right?
2011
It's
style.
like, it made me so sad.
I had
It's like
someone
after-
ask the other day in stream, it's like, who's day 9? I was like, oh god, that hurt me directly, man. Like, who is day 9? Wait, what?
Yeah, you're not the only one a little hurt by that. Ooh.
Alright, I would look at the
No.
main. I would prioritize looking at the main or like the buildings. Did you click that
Okay.
building? You know what that was?
Magic.
Oh,
No.
it's okay.
Oh, well.
Let's pretend you clicked on it. It was a robotics facility, but always click on the buildings if you can.
Yeah, I wasn't there on my screen.
Yeah, this is a sign of getting old, where we don't, like, if people don't know who day 9 is exactly. Alright,
Boom, got the lair.
all good. Alright, so we saw the robotics facility here. The worst thing you could go for is adept aggression, really. Like, adept with a warp prism, right? So that's the only
Right.
thing you really have to care for, and that's why we got the Roach Warren here, just in case.
I also have the spores coming in. Okay, I don't know if this is a good habit, but it's one I've always done. I've always put down the gas geysers, and then I rallied 3 drones in production
No,
instead
that's
of
fine.
pulling from the mineral line.
No, that's all good.
Like, I found that it always just times up almost perfectly, unless I'm rallying across the map or something ridiculous.
Yep. No, that's fine. No big deal. I mean, like if you want to play perfect, it's not the way to
what
play
was
perfect.
that? I saw a red dot.
Oh well, time to get roaches. This is usually where the roaches really kick in, or you put some zerglings underneath the warping path. That works as well. Yeah. So try and get some warp. Yeah. So right now in Legacy of the Void, you can assume he's not going to warp in stalkers or anything like that. So roaches are pretty much
Yeah.
always the correct warp in.
I would prefer stalkers. Make my day easier.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Alright, so +1/+1's done, Lair's done. Let's get Roach beat, couple more drones here, and start scouting for his third base. Oh, well, +1/+1.
I see the rocks are down, so I'm going to assume that...
Mm-hmm. Fair assumption.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, try and use an overseer to get in there.
Shenanigans.
Yep.
I gotta get into a habit of making an overseer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright. Very good. And let's keep on droning. Just keep on droning. If you're not sure what to do, make drones.
Right. Oh my.
I
That's
should
a
have
lot
plenty
of
to deal with that.
units.
Just make sure you get to your main base.
Our forces are under
Yeah.
attack.
Alright, so this is where multitasking is going to be a little important. Unless he's giving you a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, if you can, split up a couple of roaches towards the third. Yep,
Yeah, I was actually putting a spine crawler back there for that.
awesome. Yeah, so I think you can just go back to droning right now and go back to the plan to go up to Hive.
The hive cluster is under attack.
It's always like get back to what you were trying to do. This is
Right.
Our forces are under
Yeah, but I
Alright.
used the F2 button a bit more than I wanted to there.
great. Well, these are the scenarios where you can use it. Like, this is not where it's like a bad thing or like a bad habit to get into. So this is,
I know,
this is
but
really
it
good.
helps me not break the habit.
Mhm.
I should have put a creep tumor down right there.
Alright,
Whatever.
should be okay here. I would go for the... Oh, sorry, you already got the muscular ones coming in. Yeah, so like, they do bonus damage against light. So Hydra's
Yeah,
dies
I know.
super
So I
quickly.
pulled my Hydra back like super fast there.
Yep.
Oh, he doesn't know I have a spine there.
Alright, wanna go for some Overlords here? And remember that Zergling that we talked about at the front of his base, right? Like, these 11 drones here are kinda scary here, because we don't know if this was just pressure to buy time, or if he's actually going to go for an all-in right now of 3 bases. So always try and have like something spotting the front, be it Overlords, be it something.
Okay.
Alright, so as soon as Hive finishes up, which is in like 2 seconds, try and get the adrenal gland started immediately.
Ah, yes.
Very good, and then 3-3.
I'll have the minerals in a second.
Alright. So while you're waiting for all of those upgrades, you basically just want to make non-stop units and just hold whatever all-in he's going for.
I should have a lot of Hydras coming right now.
Yep. I would also start adding on Zerglings, because once Adrenal Glands finishes, they're
Yeah.
like your strongest unit.
It's gonna be awesome. And then disruptors are gonna.
Yeah, be very
kill
careful here. Like, losing your army is not worth it.
I mean,
Like, keep 'em-
at
yeah.
least losing the Hydras is not worth it.
But yeah, just keep in mind here that, like, the only thing you're really trying to achieve here is to buy time until all of the upgrades finish up. That's the only thing we're trying to do. Alright. Well, that was the sound of a Ultralisk Cavern. Very good injecting, dude. I can learn from that. Like, methodically injecting everything constantly, that's really good.
Yeah, you
You
see,
use the Idra style, man.
I was just about to say that. I used the Idra style. I was literally. You said Idra right when I was.
That's a super old school, like, individual Queen Inject
Yeah,
style.
Wings of Liberty, man, all the way. Freaking,
Alright.
that's all I have.
Well, just keep making ultras here. Keep making ultras. Just buy time, and you should be able to win this
Hey,
once again.
Overlords, you're not supposed to be over there. Freaking, they want to be part of the combat, but
Yeah. So literally, the only thing I really gave you here was just a plan to go for, like a strategy to aim for, and like a way to play, and all of a sudden it's going really well.
Definitely like this a lot more.
Cool. And obviously you're gonna have to adjust if they're going mass air or whatever, but mass air got nerfed so hard.
Ultras.
Are you for real, Russ? Are you asking who is Idra? No, don't ask me who's Idra. Don't do this to me, man. That hurts my soul. You can't do that.
That's like.
All right, adrenal gland zerglings.
That's like a Protoss asking who's Huck. It's like,
no, it's much worse than that. It's much worse. Oh, this is kind of scary here still. All right.
I mean, yes, very scary, but
just keep making more units, though. Ultras and zerglings.
He's sandwiched between my rallies, so I mean that's kind of a good thing for me.
Yep.
If I could micro.
I was gonna say that was not your entire army all at once. Just go back home, max out on Ultralisk first. Like make as many Ultras here as possible. We didn't have all the upgrades done yet.
Wait for the 3/3. That could help too a lot.
Yep.
You know. Actually, snap. I gotta get in the habit of also like defending up my expansions. God dang it! I hate like premature injecting. It's like I go there and it's like they're not ready to inject yet, but it's like my instincts are telling me it's time to inject.
Fair enough. Basically, you're saying if you inject too good, 11 minutes into the game, that's still an issue. Fair enough.
Pretty much.
All right, Ultras. Well, I guess we're fighting. Notice though, like every time we fight, we're fighting with half the army, right? It becomes really strong when we have the entire army together.
Yeah, units tend to be good versus units.
Yeah. Alright, now just reinforce with only Zerglings, so you should be fine.
Yep. Let's just spam that.
Be careful engaging with half army. It can work, but it's a risk.
Yeah, I went to Zerglings to fight off those Immortals.
Mm-hmm.
Ultras versus Immortal, even 8 armor is not that OP.
Yeah, you just used the word premature in a Twitch chat, dude. There's
yeah, I had a
risk.
feeling like once I said that, it's like, oh my god, my freaking natural. How did that happen?
It's fine.
Do you
Just
see
like
what's wrong with
select
my
all your
natural?
workers. Yep.
Yeah.
You also have a bunch of extras in your main.
Yes, I do. It's beautiful. They're not extras. They're just taking a break.
Yeah.
I'm a very nice leader.
Alright, so as a transition here, I would probably go for the Lurker Cavern, or Lurker Den, or whatever it's called. Just morph it in here no matter what. And just, you know, have a follow-up ready. What he's likely gonna do is go Mass Immortal here, or like Mass Immortal Archon. So setting up, yeah, something to transition to, be it Great Aspire, be it like anything, is great.
I got something that's gonna mess up a little bit.
I saw the something. I don't want to mention it out loud, in case Kata Sid is accidentally forgotten to mute his stream again.
That never happens.
Just go in. Ultras can beat it. Ultras can eat the damage.
Oh my god, disruptors.
Yeah, it's fine.
At least they do friendly fire. Oh
Yep.
my god, that was painful to watch.
And Zerglings are great against Disruptor.
Yep.
Alright,
You know what else is good against Disruptor? Micro. Which
that's too.
turns out I don't have that in this game.
Yeah. I would be careful here though. Oh, you actually have knocked down the rocks. Never mind, this whole fine.
Yeah, if only my army was, you know, together. Ah, I got the disruptors.
Great.
And
So very great moves here.
I always miss those in-game injects right there.
Yeah, as long as you have Ultras, it's not that big a deal.
I
I've rubbed
heard
salt in
birthday
there.
earlier, so I have a present for the Protoss. Can be located in the main base.
That's so nice of him. You don't have anything in there. Oh, you do. Okay.
I have enough to be annoying.
Yeah. Legacy. They're actually talking about making it cheaper, making the Nidus one cheaper. It would be great for these sort of places. But yeah, that's game over. So very well played. Yeah, Ultras used to die horribly to everything, then they gave them another 3 armor, and all of a sudden, the 3 armor basically reduces all units damage to 1. It's insane. Like, the only thing Ultras are dying against for Protoss right now is really only Archon and Immortal. And air units, but...
It's beautiful. Now, Archon Immortal. Do I just go Broodlords?
Yeah, Broodlord is like the ideal switch from here. That's
Okay.
something you can be working on as well.
Alright, so should I... so would it be a good idea to throw down like a Spire after I start the Ultralisk armor upgrade?
Yeah, I would probably first max out on an army, because basically the point that you start +3/+3, adrenal glands and chitinous plating, is also the moment where you're most vulnerable, right? Because you just spent like 1,000 resources into something that's gonna finish 2 minutes down the line, right?
Right.
The scariest moment is basically right there. So if you manage to max out the army with like 4 ultra, 5 ultra, and a whole bunch of zerglings, then you would be able to throw them the spire as well. Or if you like forgotten about the spire, which is very realistic because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Just go for the lurker den instead. Like just morph in the lurker den and go for some lurkers to buy time to get the greatest spire.
Yeah, because lurkers.
Yeah, brute
How are
lurker
lurkers
viper is pretty
versus
good.
immortals though?
They're actually pretty good. They do a lot of damage to armored units.
Interesting.
They do
Okay.
they do bonus versus armored. But then again, immortals are also pretty good against it. But at that point, if they go immortal heavy, you can just once again go back to zerglings. So like you have these weird tech switches happening all the time late game EVP.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Honestly, Henra, you're saying that ultras are bad against air. You're making it funny out of it. But like honestly, ultras are not that bad against air. Like even Void Ray take forever to kill ultras. You can kill you can probably go like three Colossus or 3 Ultralisk versus like 3 Void Rays, and you can take up probably like 3 bases with them. Like they take forever to kill.
They are fun.
They are very
Especially
good.
with Lings supporting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Lings beat air.
Yeah, no, Lynx beat air easily. It's really stupid, but it's true.
3/3 cracklings.
Mhm.
That's what I call them. Cracklings.
Yeah,
They-
no, that's good.
Destroy air.
Cats
I did
goes
get
lurker
into
counter
a.
attack.
I did get into an. I did get into an Ultralisk Zergling base race with carriers before. Surprisingly, I lost, but
Yeah, well, carriers got nerfed hard in the last 2 patches, so it's fine. I
mean-
still don't know why.
I was actually doing pretty good versus carriers recently because my Hydralisk type opening, like by the time my Hydras get to their base, they don't have enough carriers to take out the Hydra army. But that was just all of the timing. If I screwed up the timing, then they just wrecked me.
Yeah. So the one thing that basically when you go for the strategy, right? The point where you go for the Hydralisk mid game is where you see a lot of people go for different strategies. So basically what you've been going is for Zergling Roach early game, switch to Hydras in the mid game, and then late game Ultras, right? And the Hydras is sort of just a buffer right there. What a lot of people are like messing around with still is like Corruptors in the mid game, or Mutas in the mid game, or Lurkers in the mid game, or Roach Ravager in the mid game, like tons of different styles. But usually this is like what most of the Zergs seem to be doing. And
Okay. I
worked
do
pretty
like
well.
it. I mean, I'm not trying to find, I'm not actually trying to get into Masters during the beta. I'm just trying to get good. I want to get a standardized play. I don't want to be countering what's going on in the meta during the beta, because it's like it's going to change drastically very shortly. So as long as I have a good standardized foundation that I can revolve my playstyle around, and I can change that based on the meta, then I'll be doing a lot better.
No, I think it's great. I think it's very good. One thing you, by the way, do have the tendency to is to overmake workers. I think you had like 100 something in this game.
That's very common. I'm not like if I go into if I could pull up the statistics, it's like my average worker creation is like 110.
Yeah. Well, that's just something to note. Like, it's not a big deal because he's constantly harassing, but just be a little careful with it. But yeah, that was very good. A couple people in the chat are offering some Zerg for the Zerg practice if you're wanting to.
ZVZ would be okay. The only issue I have with ZVZ is I typically I play greedy, and I know I do, and I'm perfectly fine with losing because I enjoy playing greedy. So it's like, I actually did just get cheesed by a barcode when I opened up my greedier type playstyle. I somehow won. This guy was way out of my league. Out of my league. Like, just the way he was playing, I was like, okay, you're macroing and stutter stepping at the same time. I don't know how to do that.
It's hard.
That's magic right there. Yeah, like, I watched the replay, the dude stutter stepping, and just, I'm like, oh my god, that's too much.
Yeah, that's why they spike up to 700 APM.
Yeah, I was like, well, okay.
Yeah,
He is.
that's what the pros do, man. It's scary.
Yeah, it's like I am yeah, like I played this guy and I looked at his match history. I'm like, okay, he was 19 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah.
That was a big
that was not your regular barcode. Those are pro gamers for the most part.
I beat him, so I was like, woo.
That's pretty good, man. Did you go for like a legacy strategy, what they weren't aware of?
I went straight up. I went just Ling, Roach Hydra.
Oh, all right.
Which was what I knew in Heart of the Swarm. Like at the very early stage of Heart of the Swarm, it was just Roach, 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 and that was what I did there, and that won. So I was happy.
Fair enough, man. Sounds really good. Sounds really, really good. Yeah, do you have any more questions?
So far in CVP, I'm not going to have any questions until I ladder and figure out
Right.
what I'm doing wrong. You know, it's like, okay, I feel like I have a pretty generalized build. I could go watch those replays if I need any references. Is there going to be any way I could, like is this coaching session being recorded or anything like that? Or is it going to be available?
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask you if you're okay if I upload this to YouTube. Over the next
perfectly
couple,
fine with that.
Next week or so.
My friend was actually like, my Zerg practice partner was like texting me. He's like, dude, you have to record this somehow. Like,
no, I did it. It's my job to record stuff.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Awesome.
All
right.
Yeah, I'll just here. I'll just send a screenshot right here of the notes that I made as well. They're not too exciting. But if you have any questions or you have like a replay you want me to take a look at or anything like that, just post them on Skype. Yeah, that's all fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly good.
Yeah, this is the only thing I wrote down, so I didn't write down too many things, but I posted it right there to Skype.
More than I wrote down. My notebook says my notebook says Zergling at base, and that's it.
That's honestly the main thing you need to remember. Like that's why I got it bolded right there as well. Zergling at the front is really important.
I see it. Yep, that's pretty funny.
But yeah, other than that, you know, try and hit him in the face with the Zergling +2/+2 upgrade and the Hydra Den timing, and then transition to Hive.
I gotta be more in their face to kind of get information from that right there. See if they're going for their 4th or if they're going for, you know, a 3-base push.
Exactly.
And that is a big issue because I've always been paranoid of not seeing something coming. Just like how the person I just faced when he was about to do that pylon thing at my 4th base in the first game. Luckily, I saw it. I saw the pylon go down underneath one of my overlords. But I'm always paranoid of that kind of stuff, and I like to keep my army close to my base just in case.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just I got to move past that. I have to space my overlords out more. And one big flaw I do know I have is in ZVP I have no creep spread, none whatsoever in ZVP.
Yeah, I wrote it down like an improvement for creep spread. Basically, if you would talk about Zerg and like as in like a priority list, creep spread would be a little bit higher up than it used to be in Heart of the Swarm and Zerg versus Protoss especially, but it's not as important as your Queen Injects and as scouting and as having a Zergling at the front and as like figuring out the fort base. But obviously adding creep spread will make those like those survival moments, right, where you're basically either defending a 2-base all-in or you're defending that time between finishing up all of the upgrades and the Ultra is coming out, right? If you have creep spread right there, you will just buy yourself so much time by them just clearing up all of that creep spread, and that's obviously one of the things to work on. And then also, like you mentioned, instead of like scouting with your entire army, just having Zerglings run everywhere. Like if you, especially
yeah, I have to get used to not pressing the F2 button.
Yeah. I don't know, like, do you watch any of the Korean level StarCraft, like the pro gamers?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, if you watch any of their games, if you watch any of their games, especially players like Bjalman Life, they are super active with their Zerglings. Like they're running Zerglings the entirety of the game. Like no matter what, they're always scouting for proxy panels everywhere.
Yeah, I like to sometimes just watch the mini map and just like that.
It's scary.
All
man.
of those units are moving. Like they're moving.
Why are they not standing still?
and then I look at my mini map and it's just like I don't even have a unit on patrol. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's that's like the step between top of the line grandmaster and professional gamer, right? Just having those units move all the time and like scouting constantly and knowing up the timings exactly, like the difference between a Nexus at 3 minutes and 10 seconds and 3 minutes and 15, right? Like, oh, you squeezed out an extra Zealot right there. Like, you know, stupid little things like that, but...
Right.
I
Like,
mean,
what-
it's all very, very marginal, I suppose. Very small.
One of the big things that I'm still super OCD about is mineral like stacking at the very beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Some games I'll literally focus so hard on making sure my drones are perfectly like mining minerals. As like, oh, I have 400 minerals now, and I don't have a natural going down.
Yeah. No, that happens to me as well.
That comes down to my multitasking again, getting it back up there, looking at my minerals while doing other things.
Yeah, as long as you're not too paranoid about your ladder points, it's all good. Like, I oftentimes am so thinking about the mid game, I forget my spawning pool. It's just stupid. Like, you just forget your spawning pool. Like, how can you forget that? Like, but it's just because you focus on other stuff.
Whenever I do that, I instantly turn fun mode on, and I always go cats. I go Katz's 4 hatch before pool.
It works really well. It's actually really good
does.
at Legacy.
I was undefeated. I was undefeated in Wings of Liberty with 4 hatch before pool. I even had someone zealot rush me, and I held it off with drones just because of the sheer amount of drones I had.
Right.
I used that build so much. That was underrated.
Yeah. No, it's still pretty good. It actually works right now as well.
I have
before
used it.
pool, so.
I have used it in the beta. It's like, oh, I forgot my pool. 4 hatch before pool. We go.
Yeah. Also because a hatchery is basically an expensive overlord right now. Like it technically got buffed, so.
Yeah, I was actually doing an opening where I went no overlords into 3 bases, and I just relied on the hatcheries to give me the supply.
Right. Yeah. No, it's actually viable. It's actually very viable.
Yeah. The only issue I had with that was my gas timing or my queens, because then I would only get 1 queen out before supply blocked, and it got a little weird. But I could probably refine that. I like this opening a lot more than those weird openings, though.
There's tons of different options still.
It's more of having the confidence of just knowing, because the biggest thing that's slowing me down is when to get my gases. I would get them too late, or I'd get them too early.
I think what you were doing right now was really good, though. Like, the gas timings was solid. But anyways, man, I'm gonna wrap this up because
all right.
There's still a lot of people watching and just listening to us having a conversation.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
But thank you very much, man. Let me know if you run into anything or if you have any questions.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, hopefully talk to you next month.
All right, awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
See you, man. Thanks.
All right, bye.